Hello everyone, this is Kevin. I wanted to show you something quick, sort of interesting. I was taking a look at Twitter, and I saw this interesting post from Lee Holmes, one of the engineers on the PowerShell team at Microsoft, and it was sort of interesting. This is PowerShell's approach. Double click a script and it opens Notepad. And it was in response to a tweet from Security, I guess, that talks about how to use GP preferences to set the default behavior of launching a .js file. Old story, right? This is something that we've had to do or thought about doing many times. Now, using GP preferences is a great idea. It allows you to sort of peanut butter the entire organization if you need to and set a default behavior for some of those pesky, nasty extensions. I wanted to show you how you do that with our group policy automation engine and how simple it is. All right, so I wrote a very quick script to sort of point this out. And for those of you who have used our group policy automation engine, you're very familiar with this. The first step in our process is to grab a reference to the group policy object itself. I'll just expose this whole thing, blow it up a little bit so that it looks a little better. So line 2 here, we're getting a reference to the group policy object. I'm using commandlet, an advanced function that we have with our scripting toolkit called getGPAEGPO. I'm pointing to a specific group policy object, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the container. I call the getObject method. I'm doing this one natively, although we have some advanced functions for this as well. But I'm going to call the getObject method on my GPO, and I'm going to point to the path of the settings. So user configuration, preferences, control panel settings, folder options, open with. That's where I need to be. And then I'm creating a new setting. In this case, I'm calling it new item. Actually, just to follow suit with how the UI would do this, I'll call this JS because the UI is going to actually create the item with the name that is the same as the extension that you put in. Okay. That's the setup, right? That's all I have to do to get ready to automate this. And then I'm going to create a bag of properties. This property bag here starts out with I have to call an enumeration and assign the update to a variable. Then I can use that variable in my property bag. But as you can see here, my $props, that has a hash table, action equals, in this case, update. File extension will be JS. The associated program will be Notepad. Set as default is true. Now let me take a look at this real quick. I have to create a GPO first. GPO folder option test. And let me look at this GPO and show you what we're doing. And again, those of you who are using the automation engine, you've seen this a lot. Maybe there's some tips in here, such as how to use the hash table that you might find interesting. But if I go to folder options and when I create a new item, I can choose different kinds of folder options. I'm talking here about open with. And for open with, I have my CRUD options, create, replace, update, delete. That's what the enumeration provided. A simple way to reference those 4 different CRUD options. The file extension, in this case JS, I want to have it open Notepad. I guess you could have it open Calculator or whatever. Notepad seems to be the happy one. And then set it as the default. Those are the only properties that are really exposed in the front end of this group policy preference. There's other stuff that you can get to in other scenarios. So again, I didn't create anything. I want to do this all over here through the automation piece. Let me go back to PowerShell. Again, grab the GPO, grab the container, create the new setting, fill the property bag, and then save it. This is a script function, advanced function, also set GP setting property. That allows me to take that hash table of properties and shove that into the setting that I just created. It makes it a little simpler. I can do individual put methods, setting.put, to put these different properties in there. But this is a nice sort of clean way to do it. And then save it. I'm going to say go, run my script. It says it did it. Let me close this guy out and look at my, let's see, faux test. There's the option, JS, file extension JS, open Notepad, set as default. I didn't set any of the common settings, but let's look at it in the UI. Preferences, control panel settings, folder options, and there we go. I can do all kinds of things. I can set the order. I can set all of the common options like item level targeting, all kinds of great stuff. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Common scenario, set the default behavior for launching a file of a specific extension. Get rid of all viruses by changing .exe to notepad.exe, or essentially disable all Windows functions. Anyway, I hope that was interesting, and enjoy, and hope to hear from you soon. Bye.